You have Phobia. The Celtics believed that it was Phobia some 3,000 years ago. The Druids were worried about the veil between the living and the dead and ghosts walking among them. So they would have massive bonfires, ritualistic sacrifices, and fortune telling. There are some other rituals that are associated with Halloween, which Samhainophobia is the fear of Halloween that can make your blood run cold. There's a whole collection of phobias. Witches at Halloween are considered wicked, often women. But actually, they can cause good things to happen with supernatural powers and acts. They can also cast spells, magic, and make evil things happen.
Evil things? What are you talking about, evil things?
Well, there was that gentleman that you gave the potion to who threw his wife off the second-story balcony of their home.
That potion was meant for his wife to give him the courage to leave him. Oh, you just wait and see what I do to him. You just wait. He will not escape me.
Witches have been around for thousands of years. And there could be some among us this very evening. Demons are supernatural beings intent on showing their wickedness and cruelty in any number of ways. Why, a person could fly into a rage for no apparent reason. That's not just emotions. That's a demon.
I do what I want. I go wherever I want. I can control you. I can make you dance like a puppet on strings if I so desire. Deny my existence at your own peril.
It has also been reported that demons can take on different manifestations, such as serpents, like this lovely specimen that we have here. What's not to love? Follow me for more. Do you remember I spoke about those massive bonfires? Well, they caused chiroptophobia, which is the fear of bats. There are 1,400 different species of bats, some with a wingspan of 5 feet, others small enough to creep in between your window panes in your bedroom. Perhaps you have chiroptophobia now.
You will.
Vampires drink the blood of the living.
I thirst for the blood of the living. I drink your blood. It is life to me. I rise from the grave and consume your blood. I take it any way I can, even from your neck. Even as you resist, I was dead and buried, but now I walk among the living, and you all shall fear me!
There are 206 bones in the human body. They're used to support the body's structure, also to protect the organs inside, and to replenish red blood cells. The scariest part of skeletons is that they can have a nasty grimace or smile on their face. The jaw and teeth can also create such an effect that it brings out fear in those that see it. Graveyards. If you look down at that graveyard, there may be the possibility that your name might be on one of the tombstones. When you think of creaky, frigid, haunted places of Halloween, what do you think of? Well, the haunted house, of course. These haunted places harbor ghosts of spirits of former residents. This may be a cause for great alarm and frighten the 45% of you that truly believe. Today, the ghosts are optional, but other frightful features have taken up residence to scare the living daylights out of you. The fear of Halloween and the collective fears that go with it can creep along the trails of your imagination and make you very, very anxious. I can foresee future phobias that possess you and drag you into perpetual torment. But isn't it nice to know that it could all go away with a clap of our hands?
You asked me once, Winnie, what was in room 101. I told you that you already knew the answer. Everybody does. The thing that is in room 101 is the worst thing in the world. Now, the worst thing varies from individual to individual. It might be burial alive, or death by fire, or 50 other deaths. Sometimes it's a quite trivial thing, not even fatal. But for you, Winnie, the worst thing in the world happens to be rats.
How can you know that?
How can I know that? Do you remember those times of panic that used to occur in your dreams? There'd be a wall of blackness in front of you and a roaring in your ears. And there was something terrible on the other side of that wall. It was the rats that were on the other side of that wall. But pain isn't always enough. There are times when a man or a woman will stand up against pain, even to the point of death. But for everyone, there's something that is unendurable. Cowardice and courage have nothing to do with it. If you come up from deep water, it's not cowardly to fill your lungs with air. That's merely an instinct that can't be destroyed. It's the same thing with the rats. For you, they are unendurable. They are a pressure that you cannot withstand no matter how hard you try. You will do what is required of you. And obedience isn't always enough either, Winnie. You must love Big Brother. You must love Imsak unconditionally, above everything. Oh, poor girl. But rats, Winnie, have an uncanny ability to sense when someone is helpless. Well, on a battlefield, they'll strip a wounded soldier to the bone in under an hour. Can you imagine that? Under an hour, to the bone. Oh, yes. This, Winnie, is a cage that is developed to fit tightly over your head, leaving no escape. Now, I'll put the rats in this compartment back here. And when I pull on this lever, the door to the compartment will open up and those starving brutes will come shooting out of there like bullets. Have you ever seen a rat leap through the air, Winnie? They'll leap onto your face and they'll bore straight into it. Sometimes they'll attack the eyes first. Other times, they'll burrow through those sweet cheeks of yours and devour your tongue. Are you ready, Winnie? Had it, boys.
on a subject of great, even grave, concern to me, and did not apprehend of your approach. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Edgar Allan Poe, author of macabre fictions such as The Raven and The Telltale Heart. Please permit me to read to you a bit from this, my most recent essay, Premature Burial. The boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where one ends and where the other begins? We know there are diseases in which occur total cessation of all apparent functions of vitality, and yet they are only temporary pauses in the incomprehensible mechanism. A certain period elapses, and some mysterious principle again sets in motion the magic pinions and the wizard wheels. The well-known occurrence of such cases of suspended animation must naturally give rise, now and then, to premature interments. One case of very remarkable character occurred not long ago in the neighboring city of Baltimore. The wife of one of the most respectable citizens was seized with a sudden illness which completely baffled the skill of her physicians. After much suffering, she died, or was supposed to have died. For 3 days, the body was preserved unburied, during which time it acquired a stony rigidity. The funeral, in short, was hastened on account of the rapid advance of what appeared to be decomposition. The lady was deposited in her family vault, which for 3 subsequent years was undisturbed. At the end of this term, it was opened for the reception of a coffin. But alas! How fearful a shock awaited the husband who personally threw open the door. As its portal swung back, some white apparelled object fell rattling within his arms. It was the skeleton of his wife in her intact shroud. A careful investigation revealed she had revived within 2 days after her entombment, that her struggles within the coffin had caused it to fall to the floor where it was so broken as to permit her escape. Near the opening to that dread chamber was a large fragment of the coffin, with which it seemed she had endeavored to arrest the attention of passers-by by striking the iron door. While thus occupied, she probably died through sheer terror, and in falling, her shroud became entangled in some ironwork on the door. Thus she remained, and thus she rotted, upright. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would be so kind as to advance through this open portal, I shall finish reading from my essay. Fearful indeed the concept, but more fearful the doom. It may be asserted that no event is so likely to inspire bodily and mental distress as is burial before death. The unendurable oppression of the lungs, the stifling fumes from the damp earth, the blackness of absolute night, the unseen but palpable presence of the conqueror worm. These things, with thoughts of air and grass above, with memory of dear friends who would fly to save us if but informed of our fate, and with consciousness that of this fate they can never be informed. These considerations, I say, create a degree of appalling and intolerable horror. We know of nothing so agonizing upon earth. We can dream of nothing half so hideous in the realms of the nethermost hell.
I'm Pete. You must be Phil, the new guy. They say I'm supposed to train you. Train someone to wash and clean windows? Who does not know how to wash and clean windows? Heck, I've been washing windows and cleaning them since I was a kid. But I think I know what they mean is, I'm supposed to give you some pointers up here on stage, Phil. If you have to look down, do it and get it out of your system. Then, don't ever do it again. But the beautiful view that we have is one of the best perks of the job. We have Central Park, we have Statue of Liberty, and we have the Brooklyn Bridge. Look down there, Phil. We're on Broadway. We're on the stage above Broadway. And you don't even have to hold on. Because you don't know it, Phil, but we are 792 feet above the sidewalk. Take this building in Woolworth. They call it the Skyline Cathedral of Commerce. It has 55 floors, 4,400 windows. Now that's job security. But what's bad, Phil, really bad, is a good gust of wind will give you the heebie-jeebies. No, heck, guys ask me if it's safe up here. If it's this dangerous, I'm up here. And it is 1929, so we do have all the safety equipment up here. There are 3,000 window cleaners here in New York City, and 15 of them will have an accident. But if you hear something snap, something break, down you go. That's not bad odds, right? Now here in New York City, we have the tallest skyscrapers in the world. This here Woolworth is the tallest. And when they finish the Empire State Building, they will be competing to be the tallest. And hopefully, we land that contract, Bill, and we'll be window washing and cleaning them on the most famous buildings in the world. Heck, you don't say a whole heck of a lot, do you? Really?
A wrinkle? Fie upon thee! In each spot on my hand and a wrinkle on my face? I refuse to get older. I'm not going to just sit here and guzzle catches and get older. Hilden. Does this dress make me look younger? Or this one? Now that I've had 4 children, those wretched little creatures, I must try to look thinner and younger. Pray thee, Hilda, I must remain the most beautiful woman in all Hungary. Don't you agree?
Yes, yes, Countess, my lady.
Hildeth, we're going to have to do it again. Have you gathered any new ladies' maids? There's an endless supply of eager families just dying to send their young daughters to serve their countess. Virgins. I need young, beautiful virgins. Now, how many virgins did you say it would take to fill the tub? Pray thee, Hildeth, I must bathe again today. I must bathe to stay young. Oh, I refuse to grow old. Hildeth, I need bring me victims, and you won't be one.
Yes, yes, Counselor Lady.
Hildeth, before you go,
No, please. Elizabeth Bathory will long be remembered in history as one of the world's worst female mass murderers. She unthinkable, to satisfy her thirst for thieveness by murdering almost as many as 650 virgins, by devouring body parts and bathing in their blood. I was just another victim. How many in history have sought to drink the fountain of youth? How do you deal with the fear of growing old?
My grandfather's clock was too large for the shelf, so it stood 90 years on the floor. It was taller by half than the old man himself, though it weighed not a pennyweight more. It was bought on the morn of the day that he was born. It was always his treasure and pride. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. Kind of a silly little tune, but it's how you got your name so many years ago. Hard to believe I've been working in this shop for 60 years. I remember working here with my father when I was very young. Time just seems to pass by so quickly. Folks today seem to need to know what time it is right down to the minute. Folks didn't used to worry much about hours and minutes until the mills and factories came. Show up for work at 6 in the morning, work your machine until 11:30. Break 25 minutes for lunch and then back at it again till 6. If you're late, your pay gets docked. Some folks are scared half to death of clocks and the passing of time. Time doesn't scare me. It doesn't worry me the little changes it brings, like not being able to see so well up close anymore. It seems my whole life has been about time. No. Please no. Please run. Tick. No. And the clocks stopped, never to run again. When the old
The widow Rathbone. She just couldn't move quickly enough to avoid that runaway horse and buggy. Poor soul. So now her time is up. And apparently, time is up for one of you as well. You're looking a little peaked this evening. We'll talk later. Now, this is Mr. Henry Dyer. Dyer, how ironic. It seems like the police would like to know how many times he was stabbed. So I'm gonna go check. I'll just put down numerous. Now, it was several days before the constables found the body. So by that time, there were all kinds of creatures crawling in and out. So it's a good thing I don't suffer from vermophobia. Stupid little maggots. Ugh. My name is Dorothea Olivia Assassine. I'm the acting coroner. The name Assassine comes from my third husband, my third late husband. You see, I felt the initials DOA would be helpful in my line of work. I'm finishing out the term of Dr. Browning, who had an unfortunate incident. It seems somebody spilled some embalming fluid on the floor of the morgue. He slipped, and he fell, and he cracked his skull wide open. I don't know how it could have happened. Nonetheless, this job was meant for me. Now, over there is young Joey. Poor Joey, he's looking very bloated tonight. Seems he was playing with his chums down by the river, leaned too far over the bridge, and fell into the Millrace Canal. Poor, sweet, foolish boy. And so, death comes to all of us eventually, some sooner than others. We can't always choose the way we leave, but sometimes we can. So what will it be for you? Will it be the creaking door in the pitch black room? Or maybe a black widow spider hiding in your slipper? Maybe a pack of flesh-eating rats that carry the plague? Or maybe a rattlesnake coiled up in the woodpile? What will I put on your toe tag? Oh, I've taken the liberty of filling this out for you, so you may choose, if you're brave enough. Okay, it's time for you to leave now. I have a lot of work to do.
Well, we've seen how phobias are just irrational fears about things that by themselves pose no real danger. But you wonder, what about real fears? The fear of obvious and compelling dangers. Your cell phone shrieks a warning for tornado. Take cover immediately. Or pandemic, where anyone you meet could be passing along a deadly virus. These are not phobias. These are real fears of real dangers, though they do also pass along that same electric moment of dread. We're very cautious about these dangers. We know the risk, and in the end, we may or may not choose to face it. Far worse, however, would be working with toxic materials on the job.
We were so excited when we learned that we were going to be working with radium. Finally, we were going to glow just as radiantly as these clocks before you. Now, the key to everything is the brush. We always press the brush between our lips to make the most perfect point, like this. Look at that point. It's strange. I've noticed recently some of the other girls around me have been getting sick. Nobody's quite sure why. Oh well. One of the company doctors even told my friend that she has syphilis. I can't believe that. Oh, I'm gonna look so pretty when I go out tonight.
History shows the Waterbury Clock Company knew all too well the dangers their workers faced using radium paint. Yet in the name of profit, they said nothing about it. The radium girls of Waterbury knew no fear of radium. In fact, they loved its glow. No fear because they were not promptly told of its deadly effects. How safe is your workplace?